Oh, Judy, happy anniversary.
William, well, thank you, but I don't think it's our anniversary.
Well, there is a significant anniversary coming up, and we'll tell you all about it next on Garden Time.
Welcome to Garden Time. And William, do I get a present with this anniversary?
You do get kind of a present. The anniversary is celebrating 60 years of being in business for Drake's 7Ds. And so mark your calendars for the 27th of this month, because there is going to be a huge celebration where everybody gets up to 60% off everything in the store. We're going to have wine tasting, and they're going to have all kinds of artists, lots of fun stuff going on.
And coming up in the show today, we'll be talking about summer shrubs to freshen up your garden.
We're also going to be showing you today how to replant cactus.
But coming up first, how to plant your iris. I'm at Schreiner's Iris Gardens with Ben Schreiner, and Ben, you are actually what generation of Schreiner's here?
I'm fourth generation, Judy.
Wow, that's really exciting. So a long history of Schreiner's here.
Yeah.
So, you know, we've never come for Garden Time, come to learn how to divide and replant irises. So you're going to teach us all about it.
Yeah.
So you have this big clump here. So what do you got?
So this is a clump that's been in the ground for us just 1 year, but typically maybe in a garden this would be like a 1-2 year clump. And this is about the size they get. So you get about 4 rhizomes right here that have been added to this one right here. So this one's produced 4.
Okay. And so that was the one, the original one was that one, and it's made all these in the ground, and each one was going to have a flower this year, right?
Yeah, so you can see the bloom stalk on this one. So this one was the one that bloomed this year, right there. And then these are the ones that are going to bloom the following year.
All right, and so why do we have to divide this? It's, you know, I'm sure the bigger clumps in our yards, but why do we have to do that every couple of years?
So the irises spend most of their energy reproducing themselves after a certain amount of time, unless you dig them up and divide them. So digging them up and dividing them, you'll get more bloom.
Oh, yeah, that's what we all want.
Exactly, yeah.
And so here's this clump. So do I have to get a special knife or something to divide all this, or is it an easy trick?
It's pretty easy. You can do it with your hands, or you can do it with a knife. If you're going to do it with a knife, you'd want to cut into the spent rhizome, so making a cut right there, like so.
And we're not going to use that one, that's gone.
No, that one, you have this new increase here, so if you wanted to plant this one back, you could, but you wouldn't get bloom from it for a few years.
Okay.
And if you don't want to use a knife, you can always just break it with your hands. So you can just pop them off like that. So that's 1.
That's pretty easy.
2. You can take the bloom stalk off, and then you have 4.
Ben, now we have these 4 plants. What's the next step?
Okay, so you can trim the leaves off, and you can either do that again with a knife, so you can just trim them off about like 3 inches or so, like that, or you can do it with your hand again.
You're making this really easy.
You can just rip it like that.
Okay.
And you have 2.
All right.
And you can tear off the dead leaves like that. So
okay, I'll do that. And so while I'm doing that, you're going to tell us about what we got here with the soil. Okay,
so you probably want to add a compost to your soil, work it in, clear out any weeds, and then you're ready to plant. And you want to make sure too, before you replant, that you get all the little increases such as this.
Oh, the tiny ones, okay.
You want to make sure you have all those out, because if you leave those in, they will grow, and I figure you usually have maybe a different color blooming in the middle of, like a purple blooming in the middle of a white iris, and it's probably because you forgot some of these small increases.
Oh, so you want to plant them maybe a different place, or you can just compost them?
Yes.
All right. Now, is there a certain amount of depth that you want these? Do you want to bury them? Do you want them on top of the soil?
They want to sit right on top, so put them on here.
Nice soil.
So you want the roots in the back.
Spread them out a little bit.
Just put the dirt around, and then the rhizome will just rest right on top there.
All right. And I've always heard that you want them facing a certain way. So what is that about?
Well, they have a front and a back. So the roots kind of spray out in the back here.
Okay.
And this would be the front.
All right.
So when you plant them, you could plant them whichever way you want. The front would be.
All right.
Would be right here. So these ones are facing the grass bed there.
Okay. And then I see that you also package fertilizer. So would we use that now too?
Yeah, you could use that now. So we use 6-10-10, and you can just sprinkle it around each rhizome. You can do it now when you plant, and then you can do them about a month before they bloom in the spring. So usually when the tulips start blooming, you could add the fertilizer.
Ah, that's a good reminder too. And so this is the time really to order irises. So you're in full production of filling orders. So really you can go to the website and order all kinds of beautiful irises.
Yeah, shrinersgardens.com, and you can order now through the end of September.
And you can still plant by the end of September too.
Yeah.
That's perfectly
Yeah.
okay.
You want them in the ground 6 weeks before the typical first frost. So in Western Oregon, end of September would be fine.
Ah. Well, you heard it from Ben. He's got all this information. So you can go to the website, Shriners Iris website, and order your iris and maybe get some fertilizer too, because they package it really for the iris. And you can get them in your garden by this September, and you'll have blooms next year. And if you have any other questions, they send information with the packages, or you can call the office and they'll answer any of your questions that you have about planting your iris. Ben, you made it really easy. Thanks so much.
Oh, thank you.
Do you want to be green? Do the easy stuff first. Hi, I'm Sarah from Portland Nursery. The U.S. House Energy and Commerce Committee says for every dollar spent on a shade tree, you can save $5 on cooling, blocking the penetrating heat in the summer and allowing the warm rays through in the winter. Dollar for dollar, there's no better energy and money saver than a good, deciduous shade tree. Portland Nursery's professionals can help you make the perfect selection. Portland Nursery, a passion for plants, a nursery for plant people.
I'm at Blooming Junction in Cornelius with Ron, and Ron, we're all about some interesting color in shrubs today. So what do you have for us to talk about?
Well, I pulled together a selection of shrubs that are in bloom right now. And starting from this side, one of my favorites is the pistachio hydrangea. This one goes through just a huge change of colors. You can see from the kind of, I don't know, purplish red to the green here. It's especially attractive with the little blue eyes. I just love this one. And it doesn't change color like some hydrangeas do. It stays very true. This is a great plant, especially for part sun.
And how big is it gonna get?
This gets about 36 inches, relatively small for a hydrangea.
It is, it's beautiful. I love it next to this blue one. What is this?
This is Caryopteris blue mist. This is a nice summer bloomer here. Beautiful blue flowers. It gets about 30 inches tall also.
And for full sun?
Full sun.
Nice. And then another blue one, and it looks like butterfly bush, but it isn't.
Right, that's the chase tree or Vitex sensational. It does look a lot like the butterfly bush. This will get about 8 to 10 feet. If you prune it back, deadhead it, it will rebloom throughout the summertime. It takes a hard pruning also. It's a very, very nice plant.
Really nice. And then roses, of course, they're going to be blooming all summer for
yep.
us.
And this one here is called Cutie Pie.
Oh.
and rightly so. It's a very nice little miniature rose. You know, no deadheading required. What I would probably do is, if you get a lot of spent flowers, just shear it back.
Oh, pretty easy.
Very easy.
And I love the little flower buds. Those peach flower buds are so pretty.
Yeah, it's a great little rose.
And next to this kaleidoscope, I love that kind of combination there.
Yeah, that's Abelia kaleidoscope. It blooms throughout the summer with the little white and pink flowers here. Great contrast, and it takes on some really nice colors as you get closer to the fall in the leaves, thus giving it the name kaleidoscope.
Very nice. And really, the new foliage is pretty. It doesn't even have to bloom for all that color in the foliage, but what an extra
It doesn't.
add.
In fact, I think a lot of people, you know, when they're out shopping for it, are attracted to the leaf, and then the blossom is just an extra little benefit.
Nice, nice. And what is this pink one in the back?
This is crepe myrtle picos.
Early for crepe myrtles.
Yeah, you know, I know that in my area, crepe myrtles are a little bit difficult. Down here in the valley floor, they're a little bit more reliable bloomers, but I kind of have a hard time where I live in higher elevation getting mine to bloom. But that's a very nice little one.
But even the foliage is nice. It's got great winter interest with the bark. So even if you don't get it to bloom, it's a great shrub or little tree.
And great fall color.
Very nice. And then what is this with these white blooms?
This is clethra or summer sweet.
Pretty.
This is a great plant. Nice dark green leaves. It stays relatively small, very fragrant, and if you want to attract bees, this is your plant here.
Oh, it is a bee magnet. There were
It's a
just
bee
some right
magnet.
around here. We kind of scared them off. So
Yeah, yeah.
sorry about that. And then this one, very attractive.
That's Calicanthus Aphrodite.
Pretty.
And that is, yeah, this is a great little shrub. It's got some beautiful flowers, and the fragrance is kind of interesting.
It's a little different, but
it's a little different.
really
It reminds
beautiful.
me of very ripe fruit.
Ah, very nice. Is this going to get bigger?
It will get about 6 feet tall.
Nice, but we can prune it to kind
Yes.
of keep it in range.
Yes.
Nice. And then what is this puffball?
And that one here is Catinus Young Lady.
Cute.
This has got beautiful light green leaves in early spring. And this is just about reaching the end of its color, but it comes out very pink, the flowers
Okay.
do. This stays relatively small, 8 to 10 feet. Some people shear them back very low so they get a lot of fresh new growth. Others just let it grow on their own.
You can't even see the foliage on that. There's so many blooms.
Right.
It just really, it does look like that smoke.
Yeah.
It's called smoke tree. That's really cool. Well, you know, I think that they have this wonderful selection for us of summer blooming shrubs. You might not have thought about them having those in your garden. So come out to Blooming Junction, talk to Ron and the staff, and look for these for your garden from some interest for your garden. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Judy.
Garden Time is brought to you by Capital Subaru, your way on the Parkway.
They had to take the car, they had to get it open with the jaws of life, take me out on a backboard, took me to a Trauma One center. I absolutely feel like the Subaru saved my life.
Well, we trust Capital. We trust our salesperson here, Jackie.
Jackie's great. I believe that she really cares about us.
She teaches me about the Subaru.
Our way on the Parkway.
So I'm standing at Rita Lee's nursery, and I'm here with Heather, and we're going to be talking about, Heather, up-potting cactus, because I think that's kind of intimidating to a lot of us who love cactus. So first of all, how does one know I should up-pot that cactus?
So, like this one, as you can see in the pot, the sides, the plant is almost touching the side.
Yeah.
So obviously there's not going to be any room for it to grow. So
Okay.
you would want to upsize it, and this is an 1 3/4 pot. So you only want to upsize 1 pot size bigger.
Okay.
Cactuses don't like to have too much room. They do like to be root bound
Okay.
for the most part. This one looks like it is ready to be repotted, but when in fact if you take it out of the pot,
Oh,
the
yeah.
roots have not really had a chance to develop yet. So we would want to leave this one in its pot for probably about another year at least.
Okay.
This one, as you can see, it definitely looks like it needs to be repotted. It's exploding out of the pot. So again, to get them out of the pot, you want to squeeze the side, or these pots have holes. You can take a stick and shove it through the holes
okay.
to just kind of loosen up the pot. Then you want to pick it up, and as you can see, these roots are pretty well
Yeah.
well developed. So the first step you would want to do is I always take some of the top soil off,
And why is that?
just so that I can get a good seat when I put this back in.
All right.
And then you want to kind of loosen up your soil around the edges, and on the bottom you want to kind of bust them up.
Just
so that,
like you would with other plants
right,
that are root. You
for
wanna,
your annuals
okay.
and stuff. If you put it into a pot, in that shape of pot, it'll just stay. It won't have anywhere to expand. It won't know any
Right.
different. So you want to put a little bit of soil on the bottom. And then we're just going to put the dirt around it.
And you're just slowly filling that in. And the soil that you took off the top of that when you took it out of the old pot Now you have room to add. So, okay, that makes a lot more sense seeing it.
And you want to because you want to put this down below the original dirt line.
Okay.
So you don't want to leave the original dirt line, otherwise your plant won't be very sturdy in the pot, in the new pot.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense because they do tend to get top heavy sometimes.
They do. So you can either use gloves or like a Ziploc, a freezer Ziploc bag to just put your hand in it and grab the plant.
Okay.
We call this our poker stick. or
Your tampon rod.
Yep. So to get it, all the dirt and everything around, we just kind of tamp around the sides to get the plant good and sturdy in the pot. If you don't want to get your hands poked, that's a good way to do it.
And then can I make the assumption, Heather, that with other things that we transplant at this time, you would just really soak that with water?
No.
Oh, okay.
These you do not want to you don't want to water them for about 4 to 5 days.
Wow, okay.
Their roots now have been damaged, and if you water them, it will open them up for disease.
So rather than helping like it normally does when we up pot, this could be more damage causing to not wait.
This is not like your annual, flower that you put in your garden or in a flower pot.
And so really then the same rules that you told us about starting with these tiny ones, those will apply all the way up to any size cactus, whether it's a multi-level one, whether it's just a really big one. Follow those guidelines and you can have a successful transplant.
Yes.
Well, you know, this is one of the things that I'm always fascinated about is cactus and how to handle them gracefully. For more information, you can go to gardentime.tv and we'll click you over to their Facebook page. You can give them a call and find out questions you might have all for yourself. Thank you so much, Heather.
Thank you.
Welcome to Drake's, not your ordinary garden center. Grab a cup of coffee at Antonio's and wander the nursery for the perfect plant. Check out the landscape design showrooms for ideas, then meet with a designer. Come pick out a bouquet of flowers for dinner or for that someone special. Find something distinctive for your home or your garden. Imagine the possibilities and let Drake's turn them into realities. Drake's 7Ds on Southwest Shoals Ferry Road in Portland.
Standard TV and Appliances is the place to buy luxury appliances and more.
I agree. At Standard, I got the best selection, best price, and the best service.
Standard carries top brands like Wolf, Sub-Zero, Decor, Genair, GE, and KitchenAid with great deals on washers, dryers, ranges, and more.
Shopping at Standard is a slam dunk.
Setting the standard since 1947, Standard TV and Appliances.
Welcome to Blooming Junction, where it's easy to connect with nature. At Blooming Junction, you'll find beautiful, healthy plants, good, fresh food, and a place to regain peace and calm in your life. We have an unsurpassed collection of unique and distinctive plants and the expertise to help any gardener be successful. And we feature Blooming Advantage plants. Come check out Blooming Junction for an inspiring experience in the garden or in the kitchen. Blooming Junction, offering quality plants for beautiful gardens.
We all love sitting outside in the summertime, and you know, there can be pesky mosquitoes bothering you and your guests. Well, I'm with Brenda from Garland Nursery, and Brenda, you have a great ideas about how we can maybe keep the mosquitoes away from our parties.
Yes, all of these wonderful plants that have lots of essential oils, and some of them have lemony fragrance. They're super for repelling mosquitoes. The lemongrass here is what they cook with in Thai cooking. And it's going to like full sun. It's not a winter hardy plant, so you'd have to either bring it inside or replant next year, but they do grow pretty quickly. Lemon verbena right here, also not winter hardy, but has that lemon scent to it, and you can make tea out of it, so that's a plus for that one. Lavender.
Oh, lavender, yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Lavender, of course, we all love lavender, and look at that gorgeous flower.
It's so
and
pretty.
those essential oils will repel the mosquitoes. Marigolds, specifically the Mexican marigolds, they're super in your garden space for other insects as well, but but mosquitoes don't like them. And then the cat mint, I've heard other mints mentioned too, but cat mint I think is really pretty and a nice ornamental, so you might be likely to plant it around the perimeter of your area that you're wanting to protect. And that was something that you want to do, is have these things kind of along
right
the
around
edge
the deck or
yep,
right around where you're sitting.
So perfect that a lot of these are herbs and grow great in containers. Lemon thyme is another one. So again, the lemon scent, anything that you can find a lemon scented form of. And then rosemary. We all love rosemary. There's creeping and upright rosemary. And this one is called Irene, and they like full sun. And they also, in what I was learning about the mosquito thing, burning also helps. And so I was thinking, wouldn't this be great as a skewer for like your fish or your vegetables, kebabs on the grill, because that's going to get that aroma out there and hopefully keep the mosquitoes away during the barbecue.
And look at beautyberry. Now that's kind of like a new one on the list this year. So what about the beautyberry?
So beautyberry, they were specifically talking about the, it's a Calicarpa is its botanical name, Calicarpa americana, which is native to the southeast area, and it was kind of a folk remedy for a lot of years. Farmers would take and they'd cut branches and they'd squish the leaves and then put it in the harness of the horse to keep away flies and mosquitoes and different things. So, so they've done some scientific research on it and found 3 compounds that actually repel mosquitoes. One of them has the, I'm not going to pronounce it but it has the Calicarpa part in the name of it. Yeah, so they're still finding out lots about it and whether they can market it as an actual spray type of thing, but yeah, but you do need to squish them. Yeah, you do need to crush the leaves.
And I see you have a cedar. So what about cedar?
So this is western red cedar, which is native to our area, and this is the one specifically mentioned. It has an essential oil in it that also repels mosquitoes, and there is a product on the market, we don't happen to have it, but it is a cedar oil product that you can put out to spray in the area to repel mosquitoes, but you could also, I would assume, burn some of this wood on a fire or something like that as well.
And then what about water features or just maybe excess water in the garden?
So one of the best ways to keep from having so many mosquitoes is to get rid of any water that isn't necessary to have. Make sure that you empty out things like tire swings that might catch water, different buckets and basins. And if you store water outside or you have a rain barrel, make sure that it's sealed up so the mosquitoes can't get in there to lay eggs. But if you have some ornamental water features that you want to leave out, like bird baths, fountains, ponds, that type of thing, you can use the mosquito dunks, which are these, or the mosquito bits, and the active ingredient is Bacillus thuringiensis, which is a bacteria, and so very good biological mosquito control, and it's safe for fish and pets and birds and all of that type of thing.
Well, you know, there is a lot of things to help with deterring mosquitoes around your house and your garden and your friends when they're coming out to party. So if you have any other questions, come out to Garland, talk to Brenda and her staff, and you can find out some of these plants to decorate your patio. Thanks so much. Thanks for all the research.
Thanks, Judy.
Garden Time's Incredible Edibles.
So we have got a real treat for you. I am out here at Smithberry Barn and I'm with Joelle and Rich, and we are going to be grilling figs. Now before we jump into this recipe, Joelle, I noticed that you have a couple different platters of figs here and they're different colors. Tell me why that is.
Exactly. So they're actually at different stages of ripeness.
Okay.
These are a little bit underripe, which are still perfectly fine to pick, and they would taste very good. But we actually love them when they're in this kind of ugly stage, which they're at their sweetest. They're a little bit mushy and look a little less than perfect.
So then could I jump to this idea that if you pick them this way, that's even better for the grilling part as well?
Exactly.
Okay.
They'll hold up a little bit better on the grill.
Nice.
They won't completely fall apart. So yes, we're going to be using them today more in this state.
And what is this recipe? Because it looks pretty simplistic.
It's very easy. We're doing a feta cheese with a little bit of rosemary on top, and we're going to grill them and then drizzle with a little bit of honey.
So what is the first step in preparing this?
The first step is cutting them in half. And so we are simply slicing
They're beautiful.
in half. We need to put a little bit of olive oil on the outside skin so that they don't get stuck to the grill.
Okay.
So we'll do that.
And while you finish that up, I'm going to ask you, what is the temperature set on in the grill? How
So we're
hot are you
doing
making it?
medium high. We don't want it too high because they'll sear, and then I've already seasoned it with the olive oil so they don't stick as well. And I do it actually on a grilling pan, like a vegetable tray, as opposed to straight on the barbecue grill.
So that really holds them better so they don't fall
and it's
through.
smaller pore space so it doesn't fall
Wonderful.
through to the coals.
Now, it looks like you're adding what kind of cheese?
So we're doing a little bit of crumbled feta.
Nice. And you're really not cramming it in there, you're just gently laying it on the
Just laying
fig.
it on top, hoping that it stays. When we transfer to the grill and then transfer it again off, we might lose a little bit, but
But that's okay.
that is okay. And then the other thing that we're going to be doing before we grill is we'll be putting the rosemary on. So I have some fresh rosemary.
And I know you're going to chop this on, but tell me about those scissors. Those are so cool.
So these are some herb scissors, and basically they're multi-sheared bladed scissors, and they make it very handy for just doing quick little...
Wow. I mean, if you do a lot of grilling with fresh herbs, you've got to have a pair of those.
I love these. I use them all the time. They're great for basil. You can make your chiffonade with them.
Very clever. Now, once that has been put on, what's left before the grill then?
So we're going to go for it. This
Okay.
is ready for grilling. So I'm going to pass them over.
I'm going to get out of your way.
And actually, you don't even need the
Yeah, Brian,
tongs for that. You can stick them right on there.
And then, how long are we going to leave these on?
These are going to go like 5 to 7 minutes. Since they're a little firmer, they might take up to 7, but we'll kind of gauge them as we go.
Good. All right.
We just don't want to sear them black.
We'll take a little break here and wait for those to cook. Well, I have to say, those look absolutely delicious. Now, Rich, how long were these in?
Between 7 and 8 minutes.
Okay. And what is the finishing up now,
So
Joelle?
the finishing is going to be a honey drizzle.
And that's just honey. Nothing's been done to
This
it,
is
right?
just plain farm
Oh,
raw
that looks
honey.
absolutely delicious.
The figs are really sweet themselves. They really don't need the honey, but we love to add it. It's
And of course.
so tasty.
And what kind of salt? Is that what
So
that is?
This is salt. This is a Himalayan pink sea salt, just enough to give it a little bit of, the zesty and the sweet
Yeah.
together.
And then that's really it, isn't it?
This is it. You need
Well,
to let it cool just a little bit.
Just a little bit, yeah. So you know what I love is that almost everything at this table can be purchased right out here at Smithberry Barn, so I adore that fact. And you can also just go to gardentime.tv, we click you over to their website, and you can find this very simple recipe to wow all of your family and friends this summer on the barbecue grill. Thank you so much, Joelle. Thank you, Rich. Really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you for watching today, and thanks to Drake 7Ds on Shoals Ferry Road for letting us hang out.
Now remember to mark August 27th, save that date because that is the 60th anniversary celebration. You're going to have wonderful discounts. There's going to be beautiful art to look at. Hip Chicks Do Wine will be here with their wine tasting, so there's going to be all kinds of fun all day long.
So for more information about that or anything you saw in today's show, please go to gardentime.tv.
Thanks so much for spending some time with us today, and we'll do it again next week right here on Garden Time.
The proceeding was a paid program of the Guston Creative Group and its sponsors.